Hello, hello. I'm trying this again. I'm about to go live with Kiko in Japan. Let's see if we can get her on here. Yes, please come on board. Let's see if this works. There we are. All right. Only took two tries.
You look,
Welcome back. It's so nice to see you again.
yes, I'm so excited and you look
Oh, thank
fabulous.
you. So do you.
Oh, thank you. I've been so excited for this second round.
Me too. Yeah, we had a nice warm-up session last week.
Mhm.
Yeah. And now we're going to talk all about your story, which I'm so excited to get into. I was telling my husband, David, about your story because he was in New York around the same time you were.
Oh,
Yeah. So he was super excited to hear about, I told him a little bit about your story. So he's going to be watching our story.
okay.
I know everyone's going to be super into it. So I'm going to introduce you and welcome everybody who has joined us already. I'm really looking forward to asking Nico questions. Nico lives in Japan.
Kiko.
So first of all, oh, sorry.
Kiko.
Okay, Kiko, sorry. Sorry. I know your name is Kiko. Sorry, I just taught 5 piano lessons. I was like different names throughout the whole day. I apologize for that.
No, no worries. People call me Kikoma, Kiki, Coco, whatever. I don't mind.
No, I'm so sorry about that. Kiko lives in Japan, which I'm super interested in hearing about what that is like. I've never been to Japan. I really hope I can go and visit one day. It looks beautiful on films that I've seen, and I would love to go. And I want to hear about what the raw life is like there. But her journey started in New York City as far as the raw life goes. I really recommend you get her book, which is in the Raw Vegan Bundle. Her story is amazing. It's an epic journey. There are a lot of ups and downs, and very inspiring. If Hiko can go vegan and go raw, then anybody can. I mean, we go through these health crises which force us to make decisions, and that's what Kiko's story is about. And anyway, I'm going to let you take over. Would you like to introduce yourself in any way before we get started?
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. You have already done a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much, Bella. Um, so I was born and raised here in Japan, and I went to community college in the States, and I ended up staying in the States for 10 years, which I enjoyed every single moment there. I love America. I mean, I people there. I love the living style. And most of my life, I lived in New York City, which I consider to be my second home. Uh, and when I just started as IT consultant, so I went to New York University, and when I graduated, I got a job as IT consultant. And soon after, 2001, September 11 happened, and I was missioned to go to Ground Zero. Ground Zero. I was there very on a very intense project for 6 months. And during that time, I started to notice a health crisis. But because I was generally very active and healthy, that I didn't pay too much attention. And then a few years later, it just came to the point that I couldn't neglect. And I was in search of this way of healing and sustainable way of healing and holistic way because I've gone through a surgery. Maybe it's this is much longer version of the introduction.
Oh, no, it's okay. I mean, I'm thrilled you're sharing this because your story is so fantastic and so unique. And as I was trying to prepare for today, I was thinking, I don't want to give away, I don't know if how much I can say because it's a really special and unique story. The fact that, I mean, you just kind of rushed through it, but you were there during 9/11. Didn't you see the buildings? Didn't you see the smoke and everything? When I read that in your story, I had to stop and take a moment. It really, I was not expecting that because your book is, tell me the title again. It's a Japanese term for raw. Tell me again.
Right. Namadō. So nama means raw in English, and do means path. So raw path
Mhm.
or journey. And this is, of course, because I'm Japanese and I was born and raised here, it's very close to my own culture and history. And do is in everywhere in Japan. So like a tea ceremony is called chado or sado. Japanese arrangement, flower arrangement is called kado, and we've got so many do like judo, kyudo, and there are so many do, and there's usually a master that you learn, and then there are many different ways of learning, and it's a practice. It's so the of course each do has a different way of teaching, but what's um, in all teaching, what's say the similarity is that this it's not there's no destination. It's a journey. It's a path. And when I was looking for my book title, I felt okay. Um, when I well, actually, when I found Raw Vegan back in 2004, I felt this is it. I found the destination, but being on this raw vegan journey for 20 years, it taught me it was definitely a journey, not the destination. I didn't find the it in a way. So I could not think of any better way to title my book. So that's how I call it Namadō.
I loved the title. I love the title. And when I was reading it at the very beginning, when you explain why you came to that title, I loved it so much because when I was younger, I studied Chinese martial arts and I've always been very interested in Eastern philosophy. And so I totally understood what you meant by the path of Ra. And to me, it made so much sense, especially being on this path for over a decade. When you've done it for a long period of time, it really is a path. It's a journey. And so I thought that you summed it up so nicely and I found it so beautiful the way you named it.
Mm,
And the reason why I was asking you to say the name is because what I was saying is that I I was expecting your story to begin in Japan. I naturally expected it, and when it opens with New York City and 9/11, I went, "Oh, I totally misread this." And your experiences working at Ground Zero and being a part of the whole thing and the health issues that you dealt with afterwards. Oh, it broke my heart to see what you were dealing with, but it sounds like you found some answers. So, do you care to share a little bit about that right now?
sure. So yeah, thank you so much. You're that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for reading my book and sharing what you felt. So yeah, I was struggling with eczema, and I had this eczema like skin condition since I was a child. But after 9/11, it just got so bad. It was wild, and I just couldn't control it. I couldn't sleep, and it was just sleepless night over sleepless night. And then another issues that I had was ovarian cyst, which I had surgery to remove it, and then right after the surgery, I had another rupture.
Hmm.
So that time, I was desperate. I was asking gynecologists, like, is there any way to improve the situation? Like, I'm not gonna go through this surgery over and over. And what she said, more, she shrugged, and one option I could have taken was remove the female organs, but I was at 29 at that time. So thank God I didn't go through that. And I knew that there will be a solution. I knew that deep in my heart. Like, I've tried so many different ways to heal or ease the situation. And finally, I just find it through now my close friend, Hugo, who lives in New York City. And yeah, it was ovarian cyst was the easiest thing to uh, cure. As long as I ate raw vegan, it never came back. So that to me was a miracle. I said, wow. I mean, even the doctor didn't know about this, right? So it's been over 20 years, and I said to myself that I I have to share this story. I mean, how is it that it's not mainstream? Do you feel that way, Bella? I mean,
I I do, but at the same time, I can be a little cynical, so I'm kind of not surprised. But I get what you're saying. It's like so obvious. Like there are so many. I mean, I've experienced so many amazing healing processes, and I keep doing it. I keep continuing this path for so long for a reason. I wouldn't keep going if it didn't have so many benefits, because it's not that fun really to be at a restaurant and, to not order something like everybody else, but I know that it's going to pay off if I stick with the plan. Yeah.
mhm, exactly. Well, I say that why, you know, it's everyone has their own choices, right? And I respect whoever, whatever they want to eat, it's their choice. But I just still to this day, it's just so simple and logic that I feel like this should be at least known to the world. But especially here in Japan, like almost no one knows about raw vegan. Raw food, by the way, was actually in trend in Japan around 2008 for diet reason.
Really?
Yeah, so I wrote it also in the book on
Oh, yeah.
banana. And banana diet became very popular. So replacing your diet or breakfast, just breakfast with banana only with water. And a lot of people saw a tremendous trans- uh, change, transformation, but that kind of died down. Yeah, so it's a whole different thing. Like raw food and raw vegan journey is, I feel it's completely different.
Raw food and raw vegan journey.
Raw food journey and raw vegan journey. I don't know. Do you have that in California? Do you guys have raw fooders that who eat like raw seafood?
Oh. I'm sure that they do exist, and I remember that they were around about 10 years ago. I remember reading about them, and even 20 years ago, when I was in massage school, the raw milk craze actually started back then,
Mhm.
and people were eating raw meat. And I was like, ugh, I was so grossed out by it. But now I don't know if that's a thing anymore or not. I'm out of the loop. But raw vegan is definitely not trendy at all anymore. It was, though, as you know, it was trendy at the same time when you were in New York. It was also happening in LA. So I do want to get to Japan, but I want to continue with your origin story a little bit more. Because you said you went raw in New York. Your friend Hugo encouraged you to do that. And there was quite a raw scene happening in New York City at the time, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was popping up, and I remember. So that first restaurant I went, the raw vegan restaurant that I know in New York City was Quintesson. Have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Christensen was very big, and so it was run by a couple. I think an American guy and Asian wife. So they had quite a few Asian dishes, and I was just mind blown with what they could do in raw vegan form. They did a lot of dehydrated food, stuff like that. And then in the midst of that, there's pure food and wine that
Yes.
was starting with Matthew Kinney. And it, I remember like, oh my God, uh, I this raw vegan food, it's opening up. And right it was in East Village, I think, in a beautiful place in New York. It's like, wow, that's so amazing. And soon after, there were so many other restaurants that started to incorporate raw vegan meals. So yeah, there's so much to talk about. What do you want to,
So when you
what do you,
first started, what was your diet actually like? How did you start out?
yeah, so, I Uh, as long as I knew back then, it was raw. It was no limitation. So I think I did a lot of juicing. So I bought like a cheap centrifugal juicer. So lots of green juices and big salad. But at that time, I was doing big salad with extra virgin olive oil and lots of nuts. But I felt amazing. Yeah, so I continue with that. So lots of smoothies, juices, big bowl of salad, lots and lots of seasonal fruits.
Wow, that sounds like a really healthy plan. So how long did it take you till you started to feel better?
On the second day, I think.
Wow, the second day.
Yes,
I was expecting a much longer time period. That's incredible.
there was
What did you notice?
there was of course up and down, but remember I mentioned that I could not sleep because I would with this condition with eczema, I was just scratching while I was, especially when I was sleeping, I would scratch and I would cut my nail very, very short so that I don't scratch deeply into my skin. But still, I would cut myself all over that I would wake up with blood, on the sheets.
Wow. Yeah.
And that I also had gloves when I went to sleep, but I managed to remove it unconsciously and still, wake up in blood. And during the day, I would suffer with scratches all over. So imagine going through this for a few years. It was a nightmare. I mean,
Mm.
true nightmare. And I paid attention to what I ate because I remember when I do go out and eat and maybe eat something heavy, like deep fried stuff or cheese, especially, I noticed that the itchiness is even worse. So I tried to pay attention, but it was just I didn't know what was triggering. But later I found out it was just a restaurant food. It's always covered with oil and sugar. And yeah, so I remember when I commit myself to fully raw on the first night, and then it's got better and better and better. I felt I had better sleep, deeper sleep, less itchiness, less flare ups. So,
Amazing. Amazing. No wonder you stuck it out for 20 years or more.
yeah, so I started in 2004, early 2004.
Wow. That's amazing. Amazing. And so, okay, so eventually you moved back to Japan. And so I know you have a pop-up cafe there. I'm curious to know about that. But how long ago did you move back to Japan?
About 4 years, yeah, a bit over 4 years ago.
And what was it like going from New York as a raw vegan to Japan?
Right. So I came back to Japan time to time. The last destination before Japan was France. But I I came back to Japan in 2005, and then there was non-existent, like no one ever heard of this, green smoothies or raw food. And then in 2008, this smoothie trend came in. Um, and then now people have heard of this like green smoothies that has been like featured in TV shows. So some, like if you are health conscious here in Japan, people would have heard of it. But my cafe, uh, depending on where you are, I think in Tokyo or big cities, people might have heard of it. But and also depending on the generation as well, people might have never heard of it. So my cafe, I have a weekly cafe. So actually, it's a cafe day to day for me. It's Tuesday afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. Usually, and sometimes I open longer hours. Um, yeah,
And so, what has the response been like? What's your customer base like? Do you have regulars? I'm curious about that.
yeah, I've got a few regulars already. The responses are that most people have never heard of raw vegan, so they're curious. And when they eat my dish, they were all so amazed, like, wow, what is this? This is so good. I've never eaten anything like this, and it tastes amazing. And I try to I decorate with my garden herbs and flowers, so that makes I try to make it more fun and nice. And many people report back to me next day saying that, oh my God, my digestion is just was a bomb.
They feel better.
Yeah, they said that, oh, when I eat your food, I feel so much love inside. I feel so light. I felt so satisfied, and it was enough, more than enough. But at the same time, I felt so light. And those are the feedback that I keep on having. And honestly, I prefer to just eat myself. I prefer, eating someone else's food if they can prepare the way I like,
Mhm.
we're not going through the hustle of making it. But because of this amazing positive responses from people, I keep on doing it. Uh, and also, this community cafe is it's an old association. It's been going around for over 50 years. So people are in 70s, 80s, even 90s,
Mhm.
and yeah, they come to my cafe and they want to consult with me with whatever the health issue they have, or maybe their family member have. So yeah, it's beautiful. I love one-on-one contact like this.
So you're also educating. You're also a teacher in a lot of ways, and a health coach in some ways as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, I've been wanting to reach out to more people. So like one-on-one consultation, I've started, but for some reason, it didn't click with me. And then at this moment, in this situation right now, I feel like this having cafe and letting people come to my cafe and have that sort of consultation face to face works for me. So I'm not charging for it. And definitely this cafe doesn't generate any money for me. It's a lot of preparation. I'm just doing it at the minimum charge. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that I can reach out to people and give the best food ever. I do believe it's my cafe serves the best food in the whole planet.
I'm sure that's true. And you're doing a real service for people. I can see why you would keep doing it. It's
Mm,
got to feel good helping people when people are sick. I mean, because you remember what it was like when you were struggling, and in your story you talk about going to the doctor and how they're not giving you anything that's really helping you, and you figure something out thanks to your friend Hugo, and you wouldn't have known if it hadn't been for Hugo. How long
That's
had he been raw?
so he has been on a raw vegan journey for 23 or 24 years.
Okay.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Wow. What a gift, right? That he just happened to be in your life at that time.
Yeah, I'm so thankful. I always tell him that, how thankful I am for him. Um, and we are not, physically we are not close anymore, but we are in contact quite often, and he's really excited for my new book as well.
Oh, I'll bet he'll be so touched when he sees his name in there and his
Mm.
picture. So I'm curious to know, I'm one of the things I love to do when I travel is I love to go to local markets and see what ingredients they have, that everybody buys that I don't see back home. So I'm kind of curious to know if there are any special ingredients that you use in general, but also especially if there's anything in particular that you use that, I probably have never heard of or that we don't have access to over here.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Um, I was just speaking to Dorit earlier, and she was mentioning about mango in India. And it's true, mango in India is amazing, but I and my husband agrees the best mango we have ever eaten is in from Japan.
Mm.
It's called the southern part of Japan called Miyazaki, and they have this mango called 太陽の tamago, which means egg of sun. And it's really the aroma is something that we cannot explain. It's just the birth of paradise. And every time we get it, it's uh, we are we're speechless. Like there's no word that we can,
Mm.
you know, describe this aroma. So yeah, and then now it's a strawberry season in Japan, and strawberry here in Japan is amazing. Like there's so many varieties and so many fragrance. Um, what else? We have quite a few wild fruits that are not available in this. You have to go to the countryside. It's not in the supermarket. Uh, yeah, but now everything seems to be available everywhere. For example, like herbs called sansho. Um, have you heard of that? Sansho?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's the same family as the Sichuan spice,
Oh,
apparently.
okay.
Yeah, but so it's not spicy. It just kind of numbs your tongue, and so you can eat the seeds, fruits, or the leaves. And we use that leaves in our cuisine. So sometimes I have fun. Sometimes I do like when I make an energy bowl, I coat it with that sansho powder. Um, yeah, we have quite a few wild herbs. Mm.
Amazing. I wish I could try some of the different herbs. Every time I go to a different country, I see herbs where I have no idea what they are, and it just blows me away that there are so many different flavors that exist all over the place that I'll maybe never try, and maybe one day I will.
Right, you were in Cuba. You just posted on your Instagram, right? What was
Yes.
your food there?
What is the
Or
food like right there?
what was your favorite fruits or herbs you found there?
I really liked the guava. I thought the guava was amazing. Yeah, the fruits were amazing in Cuba. The coconuts, the guava. I'm trying to think what else. It's been a few years since I was there. It was a great place to be raw. It's funny because a lot of people don't, Cuba's not known for their food because they're a very poor country and they don't have a lot coming in. But as a vegan, they made an amazing risotto dish for me, and black beans and rice were incredible. I love the Caribbean food because I
Mm.
do eat beans, but I think you do too, right?
I stopped eating cooked beans because I don't, yeah, my body is rejecting it.
Hmm.
Uh, but once it's fermented, my body can digest. So like I make soy yogurt, homemade soy yogurt. So yeah, yogurt made of soy milk, and
Mm.
soy milk I cannot digest, but soy yogurt that I make myself, I can digest well. So
It's very interesting how that works. How like tempeh,
yeah,
you're talking about fermented beans. You take the beans that are cooked, and then you put them through this fermentation process, and they become a living food. So it's
right.
interesting how there's raw food, and then there's living foods, and they're kind of in the same family. I know what you mean. Yeah,
So
yeah.
name of my Instagram name is called Namadō, which means nama, of course, is raw. To means and in Japanese, and hakko is fermentation. So raw and fermentation.
Oh yes, I noticed that. So you specialize in fermented foods. Are there any other fermented foods that you like to make besides yogurt?
I make my own miso.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I make the umeboshi, the Japanese plum pickle. It's a red, very, very red. Actually, Lisa, Lisa, she contributed 160 recipe in the Ultimate Bundle,
Mm-hmm.
and her book, she also shares how to make her way of. That's not the traditional way of making it, but she shows umeboshi in a raw vegan way. Actually, umeboshi traditional way is a raw vegan way. It's very, very simple. It just takes time. So I make that, and I have the plum tree in my garden. So I pick some and marinate.
Pickled
Mhm.
plums.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And what do you like to put those on?
Uh, I mix it in the salad, so it's very strong. It's very salty and sour. So I mix it with like nuts and seeds or like in dressing. So like dates and umeboshi, that goes really
Wow.
well.
And I'm curious, I don't know if it's a super involved process, but if you're able to summarize it just briefly, I'm curious, how do you make miso?
Oh, okay. So you first cook the soybean and then you mix it with koji. Koji is the fermented rice.
Oh,
Then with salt. It's actually very simple ingredients, and you mix it really well, and you let it sit for um, 7, 8 months or so, and
wow.
then you can eat it.
Wow, that's amazing. Another living food versus a raw food.
Yeah, and the one that I just opened this year, I let my husband try in miso soup,
Mm.
and he was like, "Wow, I have never eaten miso as good as this."
I want to try your miso. I've never had homemade miso before.
Oh, it's so easy to make. You're in California. You should be able to get that koji. You just need to get the good koji,
Okay.
and you make it at home because the store bought is no longer living usually. So it's when you make it, it smells so floral. It's hard to imagine when you buy from store like packaged food.
So what are some other fermented foods? Are there any others or are those the two?
So miso I make, umeboshi I make, and then soy yogurt I make quite often, and then pickles are quite popular here in Japan. It's like a staple food in Japan. So I do that quite often. It's like a, sauerkraut, right? It's just salt. And I like mixing because I make the soy yogurt, and there's a bit of water that produced from yogurt. So I take that water, which is very potent and living. I mix it in my pickle, and that helps the fermentation better.
Wow. Okay. Well, you've inspired me because I've been kind of afraid of fermented foods. I have to admit, all these years, I really want to make them, but I'm just so scared of doing it wrong. So
I,
I
I
haven't really
think,
done it much.
yeah, I highly recommend you doing the. Well, I don't know if you eat yogurt, like soy yogurt
I
or
do
coconut.
coconut yogurt.
Okay, so sometimes you see the water on top.
Yeah.
You would see, yeah, that water is very powerful. So when you make sort of like a sauerkraut or pickle, you can add it in the mix because I used to fail so many times with making pickles. Somehow, I don't know, it went bad, and I don't know, it just didn't come out nicely. And ever since I started adding that yogurt water,
Huh.
it's just so easy now.
So add the water from the from the yogurt to the
Hmm.
other ferments.
Right. Hmm.
Okay.
So, so if you were to make a sauerkraut, right, you cut the cabbage and you mix it well with salt. And because usually all the vegetables should be covered in water, so when you mix it really well, like when you massage the cabbage well with salt, the water release from cabbage. But for me, like I don't know, whenever I tried it, somehow it went bad because maybe it wasn't salty enough. I don't know. I don't want it too salty. So when I just add that the water from coconut water or not coconut, the fermented coconut yogurt, water or the uh, soy yogurt, it was a game changer. It was just a 1 tablespoon or two tablespoons, whatever the amount I can find, and it never goes bad. So.
Wow. So speaking of food, what is your most popular dish at your raw cafe?
Yeah, I shared it in my book. So my book is not a recipe book, but I said, I should share something simple. If they are inspired with my journey, they would want something easy and quick to grab. So I put 9 recipes in my book, and 2 of the recipes that I eat every single day, and I never get bored. My husband, he also eats it every day. It's a walnut pate and
Mm.
uh, chia berry parfait.
Say that last one again.
Chia berry parfait.
What is that?
Okay, so chia seeds. Uh,
Oh, sorry. Chia seeds. Sorry, I didn't understand. Chia seed parfait.
parfait.
Um,
Yeah,
like a chia pudding.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I had to put that because my husband is French. It's funny because my husband says that that doesn't exist in France.
Pudding
Parfait. It,
parfait.
um, do you have that in America?
We do. It's like one particular. I knew exactly what you mean. But we tend to use it for this like layered dish of yogurt. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I mean. Yeah, so parfait is very, very popular here in Japan. So you
Okay.
usually you have like a cereal, and then there's like a yogurt, and then cereal, and then they put ice cream on top and whipped cream on top. Mine is a super healthy version, but super. I mean, I think it tastes better. I just layer with mixed berries.
Okay.
Mm,
Mixed
super.
berries, chia,
Hmm.
and so mixed berries and chia in layers.
Yeah. Hmm.
That sounds really good. Do you ever put your yogurt on it?
No, I don't. It's very simple. I mean, I can make it more elaborative, but this is like a daily food for me. And
Yeah.
when I share at my cafe, I do a bit of decoration with, and maybe I might add like walnuts or coconut shreds. In I
Mhm.
just add maybe mint from my garden to decorate. But on daily basis, that's what I love eating. Yeah, please let me know when you try it. I love this dish. I cannot get enough of it.
I will. I love chia. I love it. And I don't make it enough. So I'm inspired now to make it more often. I think it's cool that you eat it every day. I wish I could I need to program myself to get into that because I could definitely eat it every single day. I just never think about it. But I want to switch gears a little bit. Doing these lives have been super fun. And I've had a lot of I've had a lot of really awesome experiences with people watching them and posting really cool questions. And it seems like a lot of people are watching because they're curious about going raw. And so, what I'd like to ask you, with all your experience, 2 decades is no joke. That is like, I think you deserve a medal or something, something to recognize your service for your experimentation. You know. But what I would like to know is, what is some advice you might give somebody who is interested in going raw, but they haven't really, you know, they haven't really started yet, or maybe they have and they just don't really know what to do.
This is a yeah, it's a great question, but at the same time, it's a very difficult. It's difficult for me to answer because I think you also, Bella, being on this journey for such a long period of time. There's no one, gold answer to it. There, so honestly, get the bundle. Get the bundle now because this is an amazing offer and try to connect. I think once you buy the bundle, right? I don't want to make it sound like a sales pitch, and I'm very conscious of what I spend. Like my money is very, I'm very conscious what I spend on. And I would never suggest anyone to buy something, generally speaking, but I think this bundle is amazing. It's so cheap for we know the content is just so much in there. It's not just recipe. It's not just someone's journey. There's courses also. It's so much in it that I feel like this is the beginning of your connecting dot. Yeah, so that's my
I
answer.
I think that's good advice. I think you're right. One of the things you and I were talking about the other day is that when I started, it seems like you related to this. There were a lot of resources, but it would have been so nice to have had something like this because there are so many recipes. First of all, that's really number one. You want to have good recipes to eat, especially when you're at the beginning, when you're transitioning. I remember at the beginning, yeah, salads were great for 30 days every day, but then I started to feel really resentful that I wasn't eating the fun stuff anymore. And so that's where the chefs, the geniuses like Lissa at Raw Food Romance and Raw Chef Yin. Have you seen some of her dishes, her Chinese takeout? Oh, did you see her fortune cookies?
Yeah.
We were talking about that yesterday on my live. Like, I can't believe I'm living in an era of raw vegan fortune cookies, you know?
So
Oh my God.
they make everything possible. Yeah, so Nick said that it's great that you felt great in 2 days, definitely. And you want to read that next one?
Yes. I used to ferment peppers and they always kept. I never tried cabbage. I wonder if the lactic acid bacteria from the yogurt was the key to stabilizing the cabbage. Oh, that's interesting. What do you think about that?
I used to ferment, they always kept my Nick tried to find it. Yeah, probably. That sounds right.
Yes, sauerkraut scares me more than all of them, all of the ferments. I think I may have tried to make it and I only lasted, I think maybe a few days before I ended up throwing it out because it's the smell, first of all. Like, you really need to have somewhere to put it. It helps if you have a garage. At the time, I didn't really, boring long story. I just ended up tossing it. So I wonder, that's an interesting point because it's already fermented. It already has the preservative nature, I guess, to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it just helps to ferment faster and easier. But I'm like you, like my husband and I, like my husband hates anything fermented. There's some exception, and when I do ferment, except yogurt, there's no funky smell to it. uh yeah, I even smell it and I don't like the smell. So for those pickles that smells, I don't use it. I don't usually do it. But yeah, soy yogurt is fun. Coconut, I tried making it myself, coconut yogurt, but I find it too fatty, so
Hmm.
I don't make it anymore. um yeah.
Hmm. Let me see. I know I have a bunch of questions here. I want to make sure I get some good ones in. I'm kind of curious. How did you learn? Like, how did you learn to make raw food? Did you get cookbooks? Did you wing it? What was your method of changing your whole style of preparing food?
Yeah, so when I was in New York, because it was so trendy, I took one course, but at that time, everything was gourmet. And
Yeah.
I remember my friends were gifting me, you know, Sarma's book, or Pure Food and Wine book.
Hmm.
They came out, and the presentation is gorgeous, but I've never made one, recipe from that book. It's just so
I remember.
complicated. Yeah, I think I bought two books. I made some lasagna and sushi, which was pretty popular at that time, and that was fun. But it also took so much time. It's nice to impress people with, but you end up spending the whole day or two even to prepare that. So what I did usually, I just ate lots of made smoothies, big salad, and big portion of fruits. But it's an amazing time right now because everything seems to be possible now with raw vegan recipe. This Lisa's recipe book,
Yeah,
and raw chef Yen also with the Chinese takeout. It's nothing is impossible to make with raw vegan. So
I agree. And Lissa's, I just got her wraps book, which I saw you made some of them. When she came out with that book and I saw her wraps in the picture, because I've made wraps so many times and they're just okay. They're always just okay. But she seems to have nailed the formula. I feel like I'm living in an era of like, I know it sounds really silly, it's like a niche thing, but I'm in this like pivotal moment in history for this niche raw vegan movement where like all the scientists are discovering things like how to make delicious raw breads as opposed to these really pathetic crispy things I used to make in my dehydrator.
yeah, Lisa's handbook is the reason I had to buy a dehydrator
Really?
because that's so good. And I don't know how many wraps I made. That is definitely a lifesaver. And my husband, he likes whatever I prepare, but he doesn't like eating a huge portion of salad. He gets tired of it. But when I make him the hand wrap, which has a huge volume of salad, he loves it. And I would sometime, well, actually often or all the time, I would add in some ingredients that he hates, like some fermentation food he hates.
Mhm.
In that wrap, he enjoys it completely.
I love it. I do that to David sometimes, and I know he's watching this, so he's probably like, "What?" I sneak in ingredients that he says he doesn't like, but I'm like, you'll like it if it's kind of hiding in there and something really delicious.
Yeah, I tell my husband like there's some ingredient that you hated, but it was in the wrap, and he's like, oh really? That was really good. It's okay.
So speaking of genius chef cookbooks for the raw foodies of the world, are there any others that you like that or that you find are especially inventive?
Um, I like simple recipes because um I like to change what I eat. I like varieties of food, and I mentioned to you the walnut pate and chia parfait. For me to eat this over and over every single day, and I'm really looking forward to it every day.
Hmm.
That says a lot. And why I like this recipe is because I can change, I shared it in my book. There are so many ways to make it so fancy with different spices. But when I look at a recipe and I see one or maybe two ingredients that I have never heard of, it would just completely throw me away. I was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna for it. I want something at least, some basic familiar thing that I use every day. So I made it very simple so that everyone can do their addition.
Yeah, I hear what you mean. I've lost my patience in a lot of ways with recipes, which is why I don't, which is why I tend to eat very simply like you, just salads, smoothies, juices. I'm the same way. This summer, I have the intention when my schedule gets a little quieter, I'm gonna learn how to make like Lissa's wraps and Kevin Black, who I interviewed live yesterday. He has some incredible recipes that I want to try. Like his tortillas look incredible, and his meats. They're I really want to make them for the benefit of my husband because, like yours, he doesn't want to eat a salad every day. Like I'm perfectly fine doing that. So it's my sneaky way of getting him to be somewhat more raw,
Yeah,
every day.
yeah, Kevin Black, his recipes are amazing. He was one of the recipe creators. I was like, what? There, you can do that? It's
Oh,
amazing.
I know. I really recommend Kevin Black's book. He only has one recipe in the group collaboration book. But we're getting close to an hour, and I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to give you the last word. Is there anything you would like to say? Anything you want to share with anybody who's watching or anybody who will watch the recorded video later on?
Mm. So my feeling towards this raw vegan lifestyle or diet is it stays the same from the very beginning. This is the hidden gem. People somehow haven't found this gem.
Hmm.
So, go give it a try because there is a reason that we keep on living this life and feeling amazing. So, give it a try.
I agree. And you can do anything for 30 days and then quit.
Yes, 30 days, that is a very important mark. Yeah, try it for 30 days, but take one day at a time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I tell people you can do anything for 30 days, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to do it again.
Right.
And what happens is people always feel good. I've never met anybody who didn't feel good. Even if they ended up going back to their regular lifestyle, they'll tell me, "Oh yeah, I did that once." And that was like one girl told me she was like, "My stomach was flat the whole time." That was the main thing she remembered from it. I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty amazing." That's not what happens.
Yeah,
Anyway, thank you so much.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that dream come true of a woman with the, oh, men also flat bellies.
It fixes a lot of the female vanity issues. That's certainly true. Yeah, it does help. If you don't want to do Botox and all that or eat like diet foods,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing your story, by the way. I really think it was brave. I don't know if that's the right word, but your story is so personal. And I think anybody who reads your story is going to be moved and is going to feel inspired to do something, even if it's not go fully raw. I think that you will inspire them to at least take some action in regards to owning their health and their choices. So I really appreciate you for
Yeah,
that.
thank you. We're lucky to be on this earth right now, and we don't know when it's going to end. There's no guarantee that tomorrow arrives for every one of us. So, this book was sort of like a gift. So, that's why I went into the very personal story that I don't care, it's a story to inspire others. It's not for me, it's for to the world. So I hope that someone catches it. And I thank you so much for your comment, and I'm really happy to hear that you enjoyed reading it.
I loved it, and I'm recommending it to anybody whenever I get the chance.
Thank
I
you.
think we could use more stories like that. There are so many recipe books, and we need them, and health books. I think we could use more memoir style stories because it's inspiring when you hear. That's why I think videos like this are helpful. And I consume these videos like crazy because I need to hear other people's to keep going for me. Some people can just, I'm amazed that some people just do it and they keep going, no problem. But I need constant inspiration to remind me,
Yeah,
you know?
that this will be our not this will be one of the few interviews and podcasts we'll be having, I hope. I'm really excited to connect with you again.
Absolutely. And I'm working on doing a fancy podcast coming soon. And so I want you to be one of my guests. Yeah.
Amazing. Can't wait.
Okay, we've got two more comments before we say goodbye. Nick says, thank you so much. And you're welcome. And thank you, Nick. Thank you for watching again. I'm so excited that you're interested in this, and I appreciate your comments as well.
Mhm.
And he also says, every little bit of inspiration adds up. We can't do this overnight. Please keep stoking the fire. Absolutely. We live in a world full of, it's just like one thing after another trying to get you to make unhealthy choices. And so we need people like you out there showing up as a good example to inspire us to keep going.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Here.
Kiko, it was great talking to you again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you
Bye.
everybody for watching, and thank you everybody who watches the replay as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.